6.5 Grendel can outperform the 308 Winchester? I find that hard to believe, so let's find out on this episode of Ultimate Barrier Testing. This tiny little cartridge has essentially the same ballistics as the 308 Winchester, at least in terms of dropout to about 1,200 yards. But at the muzzle, these cartridges should be completely different, so let's see what this difference is. That's a pretty decent difference between the two, so let's see how these cartridges compare on 4 different targets at 50 yards. What we have for target number 1 is a thick piece of pressure-treated lumber. You know what else is thick and pressure-treated? But anyway, this is a 6x6 piece of pressure-treated lumber, and you probably already know the drill by now, but in case you don't, it goes right into the uni sled, 2 shots from each cartridge, followed by a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, just to see what happens on the other side. And if you can remember from the last time, we are going to be using a 1/4 inch piece of mild steel behind the 3/4 inch piece of plywood. And I think we are good to go. Now let's see if that 6.5 Grendel is an expert at penetration like me. I'm just kidding. I'm not an expert at penetration. I would think for sure it made it to the steel, but let's see. Okay, pretty good shot placement, about a 2-inch spread if I had to guess. Now let's check out the back, and it looks like it may have shifted the block over when I shot. Okay, so one of them came in pretty straight, and then the other one looks like it hit a knot or something. It started tumbling maybe. Let's check. Yep, definitely looks like it was tumbling by the time it came out. That one looks promising though. Let's look and see if we could get this out real quick. No, let's just check out the back. Okay, so neither one of them came out, although that one looks like it did a pretty decent dent on the back. Oh yeah, you can actually see some of the lead remnants that are stuck in between the plate and the 3/4 inch piece of plywood. Let's see if we can get that out of there. Or I don't know what this wee business is. Let's see if I could get that out of there. Give me a minute. Well, I finally got it out, and it looks like the top one barely made it to the steel, but check this out. This is the lead core, part of it at least, that made it to the steel plate. That is freaking awesome. All right, get in there. All right, guys, I have no idea how I'm gonna get this out now. That was a bad idea. 308, anyone? Well, that's what we're doing. Pretty freaking close to a mirror image on that one, huh guys? Let's check out the back though and see. Oh, both of those look pretty tiny. It's probably not looking too good for the 6.5 Grendel, but we can see. Okay, it looks like one of the 308s may have started tumbling a little. The other one though looked like it went straight out, or at least straight into the plywood. Now let's see what happened. Okay, yeah, that's not budging. Let's check out the back. Oh, neither one of them penetrated the full way, although that one looks like it was pretty close. Let me pull this out and we'll check it out a little bit further. I finally got it out, and I believe that was the first shot, and this was the second shot from the 308. This one that was tumbling really doesn't look that much deeper than the 6.5 Grendel, and this one, the first shot, was poking on through. It almost made it the whole way through, but not quite. So this test was way closer than I thought it would be, although it definitely goes to the 308. Oh, and just in case you were curious, the 6x6 piece of pressure-treated lumber makes a pretty good temporary hammer if you need to get steel out from a stuck piece of 3/4 inch plywood. But anyway, let's get this garbage out of here for the next target. All right, and then all we need to do now is the old flip-a-roo. Ooh, all right, I think we are good to go. Apparently, some people have been complaining that 8 inches is just way too big, so I will be switching to 6 inches, and we'll see if this is the optimal size for penetration. Wait, what? This is a 6x6 inch box of sand, and I need to prop it up a little because it's just not quite as tall as the 8 inch one. So we will be backing it up still with a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, and I think we're good to go. If you saw my 6.5 Creedmoor versus 308 video, then you know that when it comes to sand, velocity isn't always the best thing in the world, so let's see what that 6.5 Grendel can do with its lower velocity. Right on the money. Super tiny hole. Now let's turn it around. The mini version this time, and see, still nothing on the back. It's a freaking 6-inch box though. Oh my gosh, I guess the 6.5 Grendel's still going too fast, or it just doesn't have enough kinetic energy. Let's make 100%. Yep, definitely nothing. I cannot believe this. You know what else I can't believe is that I forgot my freaking duct tape at home. So I hope electrical tape is a viable alternative. I'm just lucky that it didn't make a giant hole. Alright, we are looking good for the 308. 6 inches, come on. If it can't do that, then I give up. Is 6 inches the optimal size for penetration? I sure hope so, because that's... Oh, looks like the 308 might have done some damage. Now don't really see anything on the 3/4 inch piece of plywood. New developments are made. I found a giant, well, not a giant, but a decent sized piece of lead, as you could see. So that 308 bullet definitely fragmented by the time it came out. And obviously it really didn't do much to the 3/4 inch piece of plywood, or really anything at all. But still, I would say the 308 definitely won that test. Alright, let me get this much lighter box, much lighter than that 8-inch box out of here. And we need to get the rest of this trash out of here. Besides the 3/4 inch piece of plywood, let's flip this bad boy around. Wings. We are looking good for our next target. We have the hardest target of the day, literally the hardest. Solid concrete. Even though it may only be a little over 1.5 inches thick, don't let its small size fool you. It will shred some bullets. Concrete is just one of those things. You never know what's going to happen. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Now let's see what happened to the plywood. Ooh, that is pretty good damage. I don't think, yeah, definitely did not go through. There may be a little bit of a crack on the back though. Pretty impressive for such a small cartridge, but oh yeah, that's most of the bullet in there. But let's see, actually we can't reuse this one. Let's see what happens with the 308. Looking good. The Grendel better be praying that the 308 doesn't do better than that, because if it does, you already know the score. Oh, I could not tell on that one. Let's check it out. Well, I would say that one definitely transferred some more energy, but let's see what happened to the plywood here. Yes, right through. It is the end of the line for the 6.5 Grendel. That is pretty impressive performance. So I guess we don't need to do the last test since we already know the 308 one, huh guys? Okay, fine, I'll do it, but only because you guys are the best subscribers in the world. Wait, what? You guys aren't subscribed? Well, if you wouldn't mind. Okay, I didn't realize that the ground was gonna be so wet, so let me adjust that a little. Okay, I think we are good to go. Do you remember that little mishap that happened in the last video? Well, consider it fixed, because Steel Sled 4.1, or, well, I guess we can't really call it Steel Sled 4.1 because it has a new device on here. Let's call it Steel Sled 4.2. Anyway, I put a brand new bench vise on here, and I cut off the back because I already know it's going to fall off anyway, so I think we should be good to go with this one. For round 4, we will be starting off with a 1/4 inch piece of mild steel. This one should be a pretty good warm-up for both of the cartridges. Yes, I'm liking this clamp better already. And something I forgot to tell you guys is that I'm actually going to be adding a piece of rubber, like a lot of you recommended, so that hopefully most of the shock is not going back into the bench vise here. But we'll see how this works out. I really appreciate all the comments on this though. Oh man, that feels better already. I think we are good to go. On to the Grendel. That freaking adjustable parallax goes out of focus every single time I pull the trigger. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, let's see what happened. Whew, that is a pretty clean hole right there. Does it pass the... No, it does not pass the pinky test, but you can't complain about those results right there. And I also can't complain about this drill press vise setup right here. This thing is like, it won't freaking budge. Anyway, on to the 308. Nice, that 308 as we expected. Definitely made a nice clean hole, and it really doesn't appear to be too much larger than that 6.5 Grendel. Let's see if it passes. No, not even close. So it's definitely a pretty close size to the Grendel. Let's get this out of here though, because we are moving on up in the world. Up to 3/8 of an inch of mild steel. This one is going to be a pretty good challenge, but let's see what happens. I realized I'm running out of paint. All right, I think that rubber is nice and tight. We are ready to go. Is there a slim chance? No, it definitely did not go through, although it went deeper than I thought it would for sure, and it's passing the pinky test, at least from what I can tell. You want to know something crazy? I just bought this case, literally the first test that I'm using it on, and it's already out of commission. That is freaking nuts. Oh well, better the case than the camera is what I always say. Starting today. Well, after that last shot, I'm pretty nervous. I sure hope nothing happened to the camera this time. What the fuck? No, I'm just kidding. That was already like that from another test. But anyway, how's about we see what... Ooh, that is a nice clean hole, pretty big as well. I guess that's the ball game, huh, guys? And here is our undisputed champ. Pretty solid performance out of the 6.5 Grendel, but what's crazy is that it costs just as much or sometimes even more than the 308 Winchester. That is freaking nuts.